Adjetivos. Welcome. This is a lesson on possessive adjectives or los adjetivos posesivos. So possessive adjectives are very helpful in language. They describe something belonging to you. So my dog, my uh, teacher, our dog, our teacher. So in this lesson, you'll learn how to use those. In the first unit, we talked about how articles change to match the object that they were talking about. So, un perro and unos perros. So, I have one dog, or I have a dog. Tengo un perro, or tengo unos perros. So, you can't just say a, I have dogs. You have to say a's dogs. Just like that in Spanish for possessive adjectives, you change the possessive adjective. So mi padre es inteligente. Mi madre es inteligente. And if I was to talk about both of them, I would say mis padres son, whoops, inteligentes. Notice that everything changed in this sentence. This still means my, though there's an S on the end. So it's like my's. So mi padre es inteligente turns into mis padres son inteligentes. So in Spanish, each one of the words has to agree to match the plural. Note, sidebar, padres actually means parents because it would include both the madre and the padre. Sexist language, as we said before. So here they all are. Mi, tu, su, nuestro or nuestra, vuestro or vuestra, and su. Me too, su seems pretty straightforward. My, your, and his or her. And we'll talk about those in a second because su will actually get a little bit more complicated. Nuestro, our, vuestro, your, familiar, because this is the vosotros. So instead of usted, which is a formal way to talk, it would be vosotros. So like your guises is how you would say it in English. Like this is your guys's iPhone. I don't know if that's a bad example, but you get the idea for vuestro. And then su again for their or your, because this would be equivalent to ellos or ustedes. So before we talk about this difficulty with su, let's just talk about this. These simply add an S. So if I'm talking about my dogs, I would say mis perros. If I was talking about your dogs, I would say tus perros. Super easy. As an Anglophone or somebody that's not a native Spanish speaker, you're going to want to practice it a lot so that it becomes second nature in how you make your agreements between both the thing you're talking about and the possessive adjective. Note with nuestro and nuestra, vuestro and vuestra, we have feminine forms. Now let's talk a little bit more about the su. Su can mean a lot of different things. So you'll often identify who you're talking about when you actually say it. So if I was to say a sentence, es su cuaderno, like your workbook, es su cuaderno, I might want to say Miguel at the end because the su could be many different people in the room. Es su cuaderno a usted. So this one would be your, and that one would be Miguel. So you'll see that a lot as you start to practice. This is what we were talking about before. The nosotros, so there's the agreement as a change from plural to singular to plural, feminine, singular, feminine, plural. Nuestro and vuestro agree in both gender and number. And we didn't talk about this with what? They don't agree with the people that we're talking about. So if I was going to talk about our aunt with my brother, I would still say nuestra tía because I'm agreeing the nuestra, the our, with our feminine aunt. If I was to say our uncle, tío, I would say nuestro tío. Likewise, this is already the word our, so it's already a plural thing. We don't change it with an S unless we're talking about our aunts, both of them. Then we would say nuestras tías. It's simple enough as a concept, but because it's different, you're going to want to practice that. Notice, possessive adjectives are always placed before nouns that they modify. ¿Está tu novio aquí? Where we would put the here in a different place. No, mi novio está en la biblioteca. I think you'll find that pretty straightforward. And here's what I was talking about before. Because su and sus have multiple meanings, you can avoid confusion by adding the ella or de or the person's name afterwards. So give it a try. Try these ones in blue and then check the OneNote for the answers or follow to the end of this video. Okay, to finish off this lesson, we are trying the inténtalo. And you can see I've written in the answers here. Note that the tú that's written there means your. And we have also used tú as the word you. So tú eres canadiense. And to differentiate between the two and say that this is the possessive one, you just don't put an accent on it. Mi familia es ecuatoriana. Tu esposo, your husband, tu esposo es italiano. Es su reloj. Nuestro profesor es español. Es tu mochila. Es su maleta. Su sobrina es alemana. So their niece. Su sobrina es alemana. Their niece is German. And then on this side, we have the plurals. Sus primos son franceses. So their cousins are French. Notice again, it would be their cousins are French in Spanish. Nuestros primos son canadienses. Son sus lápices. Mis amigas son inglesas, so my friends are English. Son nuestras plumas, our pens. Son mis papeles, my papers. Sus nietos son japoneses, your nieces, your nephews are Japanese. Son sus cuadernos. Hope you enjoyed the lesson.